All right, guys, last math video for the week. Thank goodness, I can't wait for the weekend. So we are going to be working with decimals again, 11.6 today, just one page, and we are going to be reading and writing decimals. This should be rather simple, but I want to go over it quickly with you just in case it doesn't make sense. So we remember that 3/10 is written 0.3 as a decimal. Here's three parts shaded of our whole, and it's written as a fraction 3/10, 3/10. Remember, I gave you that hint that the tens place has 1, 0, and 10, and so also your digit will be only one digit past that decimal point, one digit past the decimal point. I hope that makes sense. Because here we have our hundredths place, and we would write that 0.38 hundredths. And here's our model. 38 of those pieces are colored in. And our fraction is 38 over 100, 38 out of 100. My hint again, the hundredths place has 2 zeros, and so your place value after the decimal point should be 2 digits. If you're in the hundredths, you're 2 digits over, and there's two digits over from the decimal point here as well. If you have a number like 7 hundredths, you still need those 2 digits. And so in order to get the 2 digits away from the decimal point, you must have that 0 placeholder there. So 7 hundredths, if the 7 is in the hundredths place, then it needs to be 0.07, kind of like you have 7 pennies. So here's what they want you to do. They're going to give you a model, and right here we can easily see that we have 2 full colored models. So there's 2 wholes. We want that giant 2. Remember, on our fractions and our mixed numbers, we want the giant 2. And then the fractional area here that we have is there's 1 set of 10, 2 sets of 10, 3. So it's 10, 20, 30, and then I can count 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, 34 squares. So my fraction should be 2 wholes, and then we know it's out of 100 because we've separated into 100 little squares, and it should be 34 hundredths. 2 and 34 hundredths. When we use our place value chart or our decimals, it's even easier. 2 is in the wholes. We have 2 whole ones, and 34 hundredths. 2.34 is how we would write it in decimal form. Let's try this again. This time we're working in tenths, if you notice. And how many wholes do we have here? 1, 2, 3 whole chocolate bars. So that's the big giant there that has 3. And then out of our last model there, we can see 3 out of 10 are shaded. So we have 10 as our bottom number. We're working in the tenths. And 3 out of 10 are shaded. So 3 and 3/10. How do we write that in decimal form? Check out our place value chart. 3 wholes, point, decimal point, 3. 3.3, 3 and 3/10. Okay? Let's try another example. We've got 6 and 35 hundredths, and they want you to convert it now into decimal form. So that's easy. 6 is the whole number, so that goes on the whole side. It goes on the left side of the decimal. 35 is your fraction, your part. So that's going to go on the other side of the decimal. 35. So 6 and 35 hundredths looks like 6.35, or 6 and 35 hundredths. Okay? Let's do another one. I've got 253, because why not go big, and 7/10. 253 and 7/10. How would we write that in decimal form? Well, 253 is your giant, so that goes on the left side of your decimal. and then 7/10. The 7 just goes in the tenths place. Easy peasy. And I have another example, 82 and 9/100. 82 and 9/100. So we need to think about this one really carefully. 82 is easy to put on there, but when we're dealing with 9/100, and I do think my video is going to be getting in the way, so I'll be taking it off in a second. But if you're doing 82 and 9/100, remember the hundredths place needs 2 digits. So when I add in my 9/100, I need to make sure that it's 0.09. That's very important. You can see here's the 2 digits here in the hundredths place. And so in the hundredths place on this side, I need to make sure there's 2 digits as well, which means using that 0. It's kind of like $82.09, not 90 cents, but 9 cents. So I hope that this makes sense for you guys, and good luck with your work for today. You can let me know if you have questions on Zoom.